Good evening, YTPC. Sawgunner here. This evening, I'm smoking some Sutliff vanilla custard, courtesy of our good friend Rinky Dink. And I'm smoking that in my Lorenzo. Thank you, Rinky Dink. A very generous supply of vanilla custard. This stuff is amazing. It's called vanilla custard, and that's exactly what it smells like. Like a big bowl of vanilla pudding. And the taste. Pure vanilla. This is definitely in my top 5 aromatic blends. You know, I enjoy a wide variety of pipe tobaccos. I like everything from aromatics, Virginias, Burleys, Englishes. You know, I like dark fire Kentucky. I like the whole spectrum of pipe tobacco. What I like about aromatics is, if you find a good one, is obviously the flavor, and you can smoke them all day long without burning out your palate. Thank you, Rinky Dink. Anyway, so today I wanted to make a Sharp Things Saturday video. Now this, let's see here, is a machete. I bought this about 20 years ago at a gun show in San Diego. Well, every year around October, the Crossroads of the West gun show comes to San Diego. So that year, I took my son with me. And, you know, he saw, you know, they had a whole bunch of these on a table, and he's like, Dad, you gotta buy that. So I thought, well, all right, it wasn't that. I can't remember how much I paid for it, but it wasn't that expensive. And this thing is a good machete. I mean, it's heavy. It's well balanced, but it's got some weight to it. I've cut down small trees with this thing. So it's really, I've gotten a lot of use out of it. And this one has a story behind it. Now this story involves Mrs. Sawgunner. Now let me tell you something, folks. Mrs. Sawgunner puts the mean in mean, if you know what I'm saying. Good stuff. So anywho, one Saturday morning, this was about a year ago, I had slept in. It was a nice, beautiful spring day. I woke up, the birds were singing, and I hear a commotion out in the street. So I jump up, put on my slippers and robe, and I run outside. And here's Mrs. Saw Gunner in the street with this in her hand. And she's chasing a guy in a four-wheeler down the street. Muttering all kinds of curse words in Spanish. About a year ago, we had, see, we live in a rural area. And even though our street's a residential street, it's still kind of, out in a, rural. And people had taken to just buzzing up and down the street on their four-wheelers at all hours of the day, just back and forth all day long. And my wife had had enough of it. So she ran out, was chasing the guy down the street with this. Well, needless to say, he never came back. So that's my Mrs. Saw Gunner machete story. I hope she never gets mad at me. Anyway, guys, that's my installment for Sharp Things Saturday. I hope you enjoy the rest of your weekend and have a good week ahead. All right, guys. Good night.